5 women have been killed, and there's not a trace of the culprit. The police are there. Ghana has got some very fine police. I respect Dr. Samoa, he's a lawyer, senior lawyer. But when it comes to the Constitution, we are in a position to tell it. What the Electoral Commission is doing is in accordance with the Constitution. There's nothing wrong about it at all.
The Supreme Court decided on behalf of our unfortunate, underprivileged people in the rural areas who, for circumstances beyond their control, could not move to the district capital to go and exchange their thumbprint cards for voter ID cards. The Supreme Court has ruled that those people with thumbprint ID cards can never be denied their constitutional right to vote.
We could have taken to the streets also in a demonstration, because trying to deny people about 30% of their right to vote is a serious business.
The last rally of election 2000 was fiery for both parties. Whilst Martin Amido spoke well in the rally in Kumasi in the Ashanti region, Nana Akufo-Addo gave a fiery speech in the Accra rally.
What is that thing? Yeah, but sister, no.
For the second time in Ghana, an election had gone into a second round. This time between John Agyekum Kufuor, the opposition leader from the New Patriotic Party, and Vice President Professor J.E.A. Mills, the candidate of the National Democratic Congress. Ankwa Busia tradition, the PFP or the UNC had returned to power nearly 30 years after they have been overthrown by the Achampong government. This time, they were led by one of the proteges of Busia, John Agyekum Kufuor.
I further solemnly swear
that should I at any
time
break this oath of office, I shall submit myself to the laws of the Republic of Ghana and suffer the penalty for it. So help me God.
So help me God.
Hello, welcome to this edition of Good Evening Ghana. With just 5 days to go, the campaign of 2024 is now in the home stretch. What's gonna happen? Tonight, we look at all the polls that have come up ahead of the election. We begin with the progressive governance of Professor Domfe. They put Mahamudu Bawumia at 50.2% and John Dramani Mahama at 47.8%. And then there is the one by Professor Smart Sapon of Kumasi Technical University, where they put Mahamudu Bawumia at 49.1% and John Dramani Mahama at 45.8%. And then there is the eternal poster Ben Efson, who also puts Mahamudu Bawumia at 51.2% and John Dramani Mahama at 47.2%. There is also Global Info Analytics with Musa Dankwa that puts Mahamudu Bawumia at only 41%, with John Dramani Mahama at 52.2%. Which poll will stand on Saturday, where we will have the poll of polls? Tonight, we get into the mind of the pollsters, talk to some of them, and find out how they came to this conclusion. Also tonight, I'm sure many of you have seen this young woman in this video where she spoke so eloquently. Tonight, she joins us in the studios of Good Evening Ghana coming all the way from the Ashanti region to express her sentiment about the decision that Ghanaians will make on Saturday. All of this and more, and sports, and entertainment, and text messages, all available tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Thank you very much for your time. Welcome aboard. Okay, welcome back to the show. I think somebody's phone is, yeah, it's yours, booming. Okay. Welcome back to the show, viewers. And these are copies of the books. I don't know whether our camera can show it. And we talked about the Black Rasta interview already. It's coming up tomorrow. And earlier in the morning, I will be the guest of our friends at Joy FM. They'll be questioning me about the stuff in the book. Okay. Now, let's talk about the campaign. And as I said, Rotary is going to come in very quickly. We'll deal with the Rotary question. They have a very important message, and they will be telling us about it. So this is Mahamudu Bawumia, and this is John Dramani Mahama. This is Ashanti region. Producer, thank you very much for this slide. Now, this Ashanti region, and that looks like is the battleground. The NDC are working very hard so that they don't start the night of polls with a 1.6 million deficit. That's going to be devastating, and they need to catch up on that. The NDC would usually, even if they start with such a huge deficit in Ashanti, they will usually overcome half of it with the votes that they traditionally get in what used to be the 3 northern regions, but which is now 5 northern regions. And then they will add that to what happens in the Volta region. After that, usually, they would have cancelled out the Ashanti leadership. And then they will start, scrambling for the rest. If they win Central region, that's the NDC, win Greater Accra region, win Western region, win some parts of the Bono region, then they are shaping up into a good night of election reporting and election results coming in. However, the concern for the NDC now is that it would appear, and we have to wait for Saturday to see whether it is true, it would appear that Mahamudu Bawumia has significantly eaten into the NDC territory in the 5 northern regions for that matter, especially in his hometown Wale Wale, the Mamprusi areas, where there are 6 parliamentary seats. The NDC has 3 and the MPP has 3. The NDC fears that because Bawumia is on the ticket in Wale Wale, for instance, he's going to clean up either all the 6 or he's going to get 4-3. MPP are also working hard to get all the 6. We're not sure what's going to happen. So at least in that part of the north, Bawumia is going to be quite strong. And then you switch over to Damongo. Damongo is the birthplace of John Dramani Mahama. In 2020, the NDC lost the Damongo seat to the MPP Samuel Abu-Jinapo, who is also a Gonja, by the way. Now, Abu-Jinapo is a very strong minister and a very powerful communicator. It is widely expected that he will retain his seat. So the Damongo seat that NDC always had in John Mahama's mother's hometown is going to also vanish. John Mahama's father comes from Boli and his mother comes from Damongo. So the NDC are thinking that they will need to eat up into Ashanti with a significant number. What does that mean? That means they have to go back to the Rawlings figures of 1992 and 1996, where Flight Lieutenant Rawlings and the NDC were picking up at least 28% of the votes. Now, John Dramani Mahama picked up 28%, 27 point something percent, very close to 28 in the 2012 election. So they are hoping that they can do that because it looks like the North is not going to come down as heavy as it has always come down for the NDC, isn't it? So the battleground is now Ashanti. That's why at the weekend, you saw a lot of videos of the NDC people showing a massive, massive, massive crowd in the Ashanti region to encourage their supporters to feel that Ashanti was going to show some numbers. But if you have been a political news reporter like me, you know what these numbers could mean when it comes to the count of the ballot. I'm going to share some experience with you viewers tonight about 2016, and then perhaps you understand what I'm saying. Before then, though, let me remind you of something that I heard about. Elizabeth Ohene, whom you know, MPP Elizabeth Ohene. I interviewed her for the documentary that those of you who are watching social media documentary you saw. And she told me that the first shocker she had as a political reporter, reporting for the Graphic in 1969, I wasn't born then, but in 1969, when she reported politics for the Graphic, she was reporting for the New Alliance of Liberals. It was a major political party then. It was the biggest opposition party. It was run by a famous Ghanaian politician, a legendary finance minister. His name is Komala Gbedema. Komala Gbedema ran the New Alliance of Liberals. Elizabeth Ohene told me in an interview, which is documented, that the crowds at the Accra Sports Stadium in 1969 that came to hear Komla Bedema and Agama and Samuel Okujeto, all the NAL members, it was such a huge crowd. The Accra Sports Stadium at that time, before its expansion in 1978 for the 78 AFCON, which took the Accra Sports Stadium capacity to about 25,000, was at that time about 20,000. Elizabeth Ohini tells me that the Accra Sports Stadium was filled to the rafters, completely, absolutely. And so when the results came, at least she checked in the Osu area what NAL got, and she was completely flattened by the paucity of votes that NAL was able to attract from the Ghanaian people, in spite of the crowd at the stadium. Since then, I have been monitoring the crowds all the time, and sometimes they reflect it, sometimes they don't. So I'm explaining to you why the Ashanti region is important to both parties. This morning, I met an MPP guy at the airport. I had been invited to witness Dr. Baumia opening up the E-gate, what they call the E-gate, so that passengers can come through like they do in other parts of the world without going to sit before an immigration officer and give your passport to him. You will use your Ghana card if you come from British Airways, you've come from KLM, you've come from any international airline, you're Ghanaian, you have a Ghana card, your details are on the Ghana card. You swipe it through the E-gate and you walk away. There are 5 E-gates that have been created to pilot this process. So this morning I was invited to be there when Dr. Baumia was doing it. I was completely excited to see him. Now, as the ceremony ended and we're going away, one of the most important people to his team, I'll mention his name, I spoke to him and I said, so what's going to happen? Are you going to be at that Accra rally? He said, no, I'm going back to Ashanti. And I said, oh, you need to go back to Ashanti? Hey, we have to go back because we have to go and pump the thing. When you leave NDC, people go and spoil it. You have to go back and tell the people the truth. As for NDC, they tell a lot of lies. His words, not mine, his words. So, so you know that Ashanti is important to both parties. So the MPP who have finished Ashanti are going back to the Ashanti because the NDC were there. But the NDC are not leaving Ashanti. They are remaining there until Saturday. So this is a major battleground. Why is it a battleground? Final word before I show you the experience. NDC don't want to start the night of vote counting on Saturday at midnight with a 1.6 million deficit in Ashanti. NPP want to be sure that by the time voting starts on Saturday, early hours of Sunday, they have a 1.6 lead over the NDC in Ashanti, and then they hope that they can pick it together, add a little bit, they will not lose so much, and then in the end, they can hazard a 250,000 victory, 300,000 victory, or 500,000 if they are as lucky as Akufo-Addo performed in 2020, or in the ultimate case, a 1 million vote as 2016 as Akufo-Addo did. That's why Ashanti region's map is here. That's why NDC and Ashanti are important. I'm now going to show you a video. It's called from a TV3 news in 2016. For those of you who are looking at the crowds and thinking that the crowds mean something, this crowd that I'm going to show you from 2016 is much bigger than the crowds that we have been seeing now. Not just that is it big as we're analyzing the video, but the people are more enthusiastic. You can see it in the video. They are more enthusiastic about John Dramani Mahame's arrival in the Ashanti region. Now, if you watch this video and I publish for you Ashanti region results in 2016, you will see that it's either that the crowds don't really matter or we put too much premium on the crowds. And I'd like to stick with the second reason. Because if you go to Volta region, Dr. Baumia is getting crowds in Volta region. We all saw it, very, very huge crowds. But if you look at the number of votes that the MPP got in the Volta region, the MPP got about 80,000 votes in the Volta region in 2020. Now, if you put 20,000 people in a rally, that's huge. That's going to look like mammoth. But the NPP can easily command 20,000 in the Volta region. They can command 50,000 in the Volta region. Indeed, they can command 100,000 in the Volta region. If Mahamudu Bawumia has a rally at Ho Sports Stadium, which is a capacity of about 20,000, and he puts 100,000 people in the whole sports stadium, it's going to look like the MPP will win the Volta region, the entire Volta region. But it's not so, because human beings are important, you see. So crowds matter. Human beings are so important that we always give that big impression. Look at this video. John Dramani Mahama, 2016. John Mahama's loss in Ashanti region in 2016 was the most abysmal. Completely defeated, completely wiped out in Ashanti in 2016. Akufo-Addo pulled 76% of the votes in Ashanti region in 2016. But this was John Mahama 1 week before election 2016 in Ashanti region. Have a look.
He has so far visited Nu Edubiase, Adansia Sokwa, Ekrofum, and Obuasi constituencies. President Mahama was confident voters in the Ashanti region will reward the NDC come December 7 based on the developmental project government has embarked on in the region.
We, the NDC, don't discriminate whether you voted for us or not. We still add you to our plans when putting up developmental projects. I'm convinced that the NDC will be able to get over 1 million votes in the Ashanti region.
National Campaign Coordinator Kofi Adams urged the people to vote massively for the NDC to continue on its good works. The chief of Dompase, Okofo Sobe Kain II, commended President Mahama for bringing development to the area.
And the NDC intends to win 13 parliamentary seats in the Ashanti region, a stronghold of the opposition New Patriotic.
That was 2020. You heard the newsreader say the NDC wants to win a certain number of votes in the Ashanti region, etc., etc. That was 2016. President Mahama's most abysmal performance, his performance in 2012 in Ashanti region was much, much better. So just to focus us on the polls and towards Saturday, don't let the crowds move you to a certain direction. It may be right, it may be wrong, it may mean nothing. But let's wait and see what happens. So keep Ashanti region in mind. It's a big battleground. The NPP would like to win many votes. The NDC also would like to win many votes. Now, as we get to the tail end of the campaign, 24-hour economy has been touched again, this time by the boss himself. President John Dramani Mahama, responding to our questions from an interview in a radio station, I believe, in Koforidua, explained the 24-hour economy. Many people are concerned because he said the 24-hour economy policy is not compulsory, and everyone was concerned about it. Why is it not compulsory? What happened? And etc., etc. Have a look at the interview and let's come back to the show. Have a look.
24-hour economy, Senia Wabobosui, Yemfa Ifiasem, David Sekofrudia, and Niakwetia. Se wo ba 24-hour economy no Kofudia Niakwetia say the Yemfatoho. Mfaso Ben or mu betimi a free 24-hour economy.
24-hour economy no a voluntary and the IF force. The policy in the baba.
Okay.
And to be a kind no share say with Juma or Yano a bit to me a rasa policy the more.
Okay.
Into Yaba secretariat, 24-hour economy secretariat.
Okay.
It is open say Uyebia, Okwa Yabama affiliate from Bibiani Abetra with Jumano, near Shesenia. Also, obey me the one who are back home.
Okay.
Na and more a buying by Mauno near the amount and a bear. Obefa Juma phone be account.
Okay.
Adia Oko Abrocha Omoye. And yet faction even services. Ebia restaurants. Yankas a restaurant.
Yes.
Uye Juma every Samri a copim Samri.
Maybe you want to hear it again, viewers. Maybe you want to hear it. This is the 24-hour economy, the final explanation, 5 days to go from the boss. That's what he said.
24-hour economy, Senia Wabobosui, Yemfa Ifiasem, David Sekofrudia, and Niakwetia. Se wo ba 24-hour economy no Kofudia Niakwetia say the Yemfatoho. Mfaso Ben or mu betimi a free 24-hour economy.
24-hour economy no a voluntary and the IF force. The policy in the baba.
Okay.
And to be a kind no share say with Juma or Yano a bit to me a rasa policy the more.
Okay.
Into Yaba secretariat, 24-hour economy secretariat.
Okay.
It is open say Uyebia, Okwa Yabama affiliate from Bibiani Abetra with Jumano, near Shesenia. Also, obey to me the one who are back home.
Okay.
Na and more a buying by Mauno near the amount and a bear. Obefa Juma phone be account.
Okay.
Adia Oko Abrocha Omoye. And yet faction even services. Ebia restaurants. as a restaurant.
Yes.
We Juma every Samri, a copim Samri.
That was the explanation from the boss. Now, I'm getting a text message about people who are telling me, what are you wearing? It's too big. Go and remove it. This is my shirt from election 2008. Can you focus on it? Let's see. This shirt was proudly, so there you have it. Ghana for Peace 08. That's it. Ghana for Peace 08 with the Ghana flag. It was made for me by Maoli Okujeto, the famous Ghanaian designer, back in 2008. This is what I wore for the 2008 election. It looks like I've become smaller from 2008. So it's kind of loose. I will not leave it. Every election it will feature. In 2012, I couldn't wear it because I was big. 2016, I couldn't wear it. 2020, I was able to wear it. Now, it's bigger than me. I'm so glad with myself. Please, call my gym trainer and tell him that he's a very, very good man. All right. So that was from the boss. Now, let me give you the message from Akufo-Addo. I told you that Akufo-Addo says I should give my viewers a certain message. Now, Mr. President, good evening. There was concern in Ghana a year ago, a year, 3 months ago. There was a lot of concern in Ghana. And journalists even had radio and TV programs where they talked about it. That Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Akufo-Addo has done nothing. That's what they used to say. Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Everything is a free SHS. What is free SHS? Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Now, they say Akufo-Addo is doing too much. I don't get it. Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Please, viewers, help me. Those of you who are engineers and quantity surveyors and you are in the construction area. Does it take 1 week to do the flower pots overpass so that you sit in your office and say, hey, we are going to lose the election. Oh, let's hurry up and go and do the flower pot. Then within 1 week, you do all the flower pots and finish. Then you go and commission it and tell people that, hey, you were saying I haven't done anything, I've done something. No. These things take years. So in 2022, Akufo-Addo knew what he has done. He was aware. He told his communicators that, don't worry. The sweetness of the cake is in the eating of it. Let us finish and do the project. The important thing is for us to finish before the end of the president's term. And the president's term ends in January 2025 on the 7th day. It ends that day. So the concern from the president was that let us move our people to finish. Don't answer the question about Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Just leave it. Let it fester. Let it go on. The day we show what we have done, everybody will keep quiet. If that is close to the election, we would have delivered our mandate to the people. Now today, he has the thing is not finished. He has commissioned it. Akufo-Addo every day is commissioning. Commission general. Commission this. Look at this work. This work on TV. Does it take 2 weeks to say that, hey, we are losing election. Let's go and commission road. Hey, we are losing. This work is 2 weeks. Those of us who live in that neighborhood, is it 2 weeks work that they did? This is work of years. So I'm yet to understand why there's a problem with Akufo-Addo is commissioning. Now Akufo-Addo is telling you that when you said I had done nothing, this is what I'm doing. Look at the London beach. It was promised by Kwame Nkrumah. It's far away over there. This is what you are seeing is a flower pot. The London beach in Accra, it was promised by Kwame Nkrumah 100 years ago. Every president wanted to do it. It's not that they are bad people. The exigencies of the times, the budget is limited, etc., etc. But every president had a hard desire to do it. Akufo-Addo was lucky. He promised that he delivered it for the Ghana people. In Accra Central, London Beach is there. Flower pot, we all know that it was John Dramani Mahama. I like the way the Akan radio says it. Yera John Dramani Mahama no start. Yera Nana Akufo-Addo. Yera oya ne baby called Professor J. Atamos or being for Yera. I like the way they describe the press. So Yera, good evening, sir. Good evening, Yera. So they will say, Yera John Dramani Mahama and I say flower pot on the buy. It's true. It's not a lie. John Dramani Mahama thought about it. Because you have to give the leaders the benefit of the doubt and assume that they want to do something for Ghana. If you find that they don't want to do something for Ghana, then that's different. But at the outset, you don't assume that they don't want to do anything for Ghana. No. You have to assume that they want to do something for Ghana. So yes, John Dramani Mahama thought about it. He was unable to achieve it. Yera Akufo-Addo came and he has done it. The Obeche Bilamte thing. I think John Mahama did one tier from the graphic area. Those of you know that place. From the graphic area, swinging over to North Kaneshie was done. Akufo-Addo came and he has added it. Or it's both Akufo-Addo, I think. Akufo-Addo chapter 1, Akufo-Addo chapter 2, I think. I stand to be corrected. But Akufo-Addo has added another one. He's commissioned it. So please, let us understand this process. Now, I'd like to go to the chronicle story for the parliamentarians first before I come to the young man. It is for this reason. Now, let me say this. Everything that Akufo-Addo is commissioning, everything, the members of parliament are aware of it. Because the thing goes through parliament for parliament to approve the money that will be used to do the construction. So every MP knows about it. So that is why, as far back as 2019, this is the story. NDC MPs visit Jubilee House to thank Akufo-Addo for massive projects in their constituencies. Now, when they visited Akufo-Addo in Jubilee House to say this, those projects, some of them were not off the ground. But Parliament had approved the loan. Parliament had approved the works. Parliament had approved the concept. Because everything the executive does with the taxpayers' money, your money, my money, that executive will need to go to Parliament, the representatives of the people, to secure their buy-in, their consent, and their concurrence for this to happen. So the MPs who went to thank Akufo-Addo, many people who saw this story were wondering that, what has Akufo-Addo done? You're going to thank, where is the thing? Where is the thing? Where is the thing? As they say, Nasikano wehi. But they were thanking Akufo-Addo because they knew that this day was going to come. Barring anything happening, they knew that once Parliament has approved the loan, the project was going to come. So everyone has forgotten. Me too, I've forgotten until they pulled this up for me. NDC MPs visit Jubilee House to thank Akufo-Addo for massive projects in their constituencies. When has this happened in the Fourth Republic? I should have captured this in the book. When has this happened in the Fourth Republic? Where members of the opposition are going to the castle as it used to be, to go and thank the sitting president of the other party, the ruling party, for massive projects in the opposition people's constituencies. When has this happened? Show me when. In spite of all this, a year ago, 9 months ago, the whole country was awash with a narrative that Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Everybody was saying it. Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Akufo-Addo has done nothing. Akufo-Addo has... Today, he is doing too much. He is doing it because of election. He knows that his party is going to lose election. So he is doing road. Do they do road in 2 weeks? 2 weeks? They do road 2 weeks? No. They don't do road in 2 weeks. It requires proper planning, proper thinking, analytical, execution, purpose, driven, everything. Yira, thank you very much. This young man has done a video for you. Yira, he calls you certain names I don't like. He calls you some names I don't like. But Yira, you have to listen to what he's saying and then choose which name he calls you like and the names that you don't like. He came and said, don't call me Excellency. I don't like that. Call me Mr. President. No, he doesn't know me Excellency. What is that for? Just say Mr. President. Your Excellency is for the books and it's for the UN Security Council meeting and all of that. But he says, just call me Mr. President. This young man, I understand that he's a regular TikToker that people watch him a lot. And he did this video about the current state of affairs, about Akufo-Addo's achievement, or is it non-achievement? This is what he said.
Familiar with Jimmy. Hey! Nana Akufo-Addo. Nana Gagai. Nana Showboy. Nana killing me softly. Nana Rotary for the last minute Ebeji Ballon d'Or. Nana Bakaza. Hey! Charlie, Adiana Nana do you know? On say about one I to me politics. But the new media, so I'm shocked and everlasting. I'm really superstitious, bro. Adiana Akufo-Addo you know? On say about one I between MPP, NDC, and a cheddar. But cheddar, let me tell you this. Cheddar mesro campaign now and baby eduno. A yewa says jai. Fadiaka no fatikana can fa kuhinyanka. About one unya na jai. A hard truth. A no crana mekano. NDC so modie. Possibility same benyano high because the BI between mo any MPP. But Adiana Nanado iron within shortest possible time in November imudie. NDC, Monfa Nanado Quadroso, Monfa MPP for Enquadroso, Monfa Mon flag no Enco Beni, Enquire Drungo because Adiana Nanado is showcasing the end of this month. No, I know what Jimmy Jimmy. I don't do politics, but Sankamako got to about Pandia. Adiana Nanado is showcasing within the shortest possible time now. Any book more, we a show Yagani you. I know one thing. I know the Jimmy Chiji as only will be play Ballon d'Or. Then the Pocona Saji World Cup. What's Ashabo hat-trick or World Cup final? Charlie, where near Waji? At the end of the it is possible as a Mujaikan. It is a warn. You guys have won. I know, hey, Nanado no a scammer. Nanado, you are a scamming boy, bro.
I beg you, viewers. This one is for me. It's for me. I beg you. Let me indulge you. Please show the video one more time. Just one more time.
Hey, Nana Kufuado, Nana Gagai, Nana Showboy, Nana killing me softly, Nana Rotary for the last minute Ebeji Ballon d'Or, Nana Bataza. Hey, Charlie, Adiana Nana do you know? On say about one I to me politics. But the new media, so I'm shocked and everlasting. I'm really superstitious, bro. Adiana Kufuado, you know, on say about one I between MPP, NDC, and a cheddar. But cheddar, let me tell you this. Cheddar mesra campaign now and baby eduno. E ye wase iske jai. Fa dia kan fa skana kan fa kuhwe nyanka. Abaton unya na jai a hard truth e ye no kra na meka no. NDC so mo de possibility say mbenya no e high because the bia between mo any MPP. But Adiana Nanado ayen within shortest possible time ye November mu de. NDC, Monfa Nanado Quadroso, Monfa MPP for Enquadroso, Monfa Mon flag no, Enco Beni, Enquire Drungo because Adena Nanado a showcasing the end of this month. No, I know what Jimmy Jimmy. I don't do politics, but Sankamaka got to a bapandia. Adena Nanado a showcasing within the shortest possible time now. Any book more, we a show Yagani you. I know what thing. I know the Jimmy Chiji as only will be play Ballon d'Or. Then the Pocona Saji World Cup. What's Ashabo hat-trick or World Cup final? Charlie, where near Waji? At the end of the Kikakon, it is possible as a Mujaikan. It is a warn. You guys have won. I know, hey, Nanado no a scammer. Nanado, you are a scamming boy, bro.
I told you I don't like some of the names that he's calling Yera. I don't like some of the names. I won't mention which name I don't like. You all know. He said some name. Yera is not that name. He's a show boy. Yes, I take that. But that's other name that he mentioned. I'm not sure. Okay. It's not only Yera who is commissioning, by the way. The candidate, Dr. Baumia, they said that don't say it's possible anymore. It is a warn. Your Excellency, they said it is not possible anymore. Now, in 5 days more, the possible, it has come to 5 days, is ended. Now, with 5 days to go, it is a warn because of what you and your boss are doing. They say that the two of you are scammers. You knew that you would do overpass, you do this, you didn't do it. And now last minute you are doing it. And you know. So, but he also had something. Never in the history of this country have 80 schools been commissioned one day. On Thursday, everyone is pulling Dr. Educhum to their show. So I told Dr. Educhum that if he doesn't come on my show and he goes to another person's show, me and him won't talk again because I'm pulling him, Joy FM is pulling him, City FM is pulling him. Everybody wants Educhum on the show. What a minister. He commissioned 80 schools in one day. It's never happened from the day Kwame Nkrumah took the oath in 1961 July. It's never happened. 80 schools, one day. That is the magic of the Baumia Napo tickets. All right, let's see this video. It was Carl from Dr. Baumia's Facebook page.
Transforming education one building at a time. Since 2017, Ghana has completed 588 senior high school projects.
And that's not all. We've also completed over 500 basic school projects and launched over 30 community ICT centers, bringing technology to every corner of our nation.
Imagine vibrant classrooms filled with eager learners, equipped with the tools they need to succeed. This is more than just infrastructure, it's a pathway to opportunity.
Investing in our schools means investing in our future, empowering the next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers.
Join us in celebrating these incredible achievements. Together, We are building a stronger and a smarter Ghana.
All right, back on the set. We have a big interview now with Rotary Ghana. Rotary is asking all of us to be peaceful during this period of election. One is going to lose, one is going to win. The winner must be magnanimous in victory, the loser must be humble in defeat and quiet. Okay. Anyway, people will say that there is justice before peace, and that if we don't get justice at the polls, we will not give you peace. Rotary will tell us how we can get both justice and peace at the same time. This man also put up a video about elections, and he was talking about how he's going to vote. He has a very direct idea of how he's going to vote. Have a look.
His Excellency Akwaba, 24 years Mama Akwaba. No, Mama Tinashe, with the years. Medini de Mauli Ekpe Peter na Obia Frame Apro the big mouth. When you say Angela from na me ye juma. Na me jinaha aka sem kitwa we na ye nyina di atu etrim kosi dai beto abaneri akai ye papa Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Me firi anyako ba ye wo mu obogoso. Me papa ya ngoneni. And automatically, NDC I joined NDC, my branch chairman, ward chairman, constituency vice chairman for NCISO. Now, when it comes to communication, no matter what you bring, I will defend myself. To the extent that in NDC, my cousin will say, sir, Bonibia me deal with NDC Mutia Ghana for Monfan Cheme. My patch on so many platforms. I have said it. Said in NDC, you better they train you. I deal with a black, kind of white. So that kaya. Tamana dum so ni jina so kesiye pa no. Me a movie producer. Sisi amejina ameka say the whole Ghana movie producers, me na me national PRO. Me jina hey. Me na me say national welfare. Me say many honorable champagne at Kesbin TV. Atade e se me apompo yadum kanea. Na me defend say me na man to atale no. Me defend say me na man to atale no. Meanwhile, movie a me di musica di atwa so no yento because there's no light to watch movies. Na asidanka owura napo asidanka na nado danko ekufuado dear emma me joining MPP me na me challenge me ho say bogo so ya wo ye no uwie school as to say obetu aso akọ secondary school no na ye den Yamu be a year school no. Ya boko kotina nkran 2 years. And some sister Penny and in Kunu at school. So when me tis and another school be a free SHS no. Now me say politician or boy. So to me ba no yeah for even the first time me I will leave NDC and follow MPP because of free SHS. Now as yet my classmate Alex Bano ewo bogoso tamani o bogoso DC ya ka obi onima de pa na ya Alex Bano but in there or your shoemaker ewo bogoso because of scar when you fa ko secondary school ebusia me mama kasa ne nwa I am preaching the gospel of free SHS because very soon ufie ubenya lawyer Ufie ubenya professor.
All right, we'll have time to talk about that video a bit later on because we're on the highway of interview. Let's go to Fatih for the text messages. Fatih, what are people saying about the show?
All right, thank you, Paul. So this coming from Inshiraba Anelka, all the way from Ashanti's constituency. She says no government in Ghana's history has performed better than Nana and Baumia. They are the first government in Ghana's history to introduce policies that spread the national cake and development. Historically, development has spread all over Ghana, and this is the government we all want, so you must vote for Dr. Baumia. General E.L. Common says, I believe in scientific surveys, but surveys don't win elections. It is the track records and policies. No strategy or magic by NDC at Ashanti will save them. JDM has no campaign message. He's just doing and trying to explain the 24 hours economy. Destiny Rain says, it is interesting how followers of the NDC still thinks they can make any impact in Kumasi. Aswasi alone, which is their traditional seat, can have such a number. As an ardent believer in the NPP and their policies, I believe the NPP will win in Kumasi, and it's no less than 76%. I equally believe it's another way to keep supporters alive and keep playing with their mind and emotions. Shadrach Malbam says, anytime the NDC aim high in Ashanti region, they end up losing much more. They've talked about 1 million votes in the past, but ask them about it. Oliver Bamba says, Dr. Baumia as president, nurses, teachers, training allowances will be maintained, perfected, enhanced, and paid timely. Junior Akbar, all the way from Tamale, says Ghanaians are not ready to go backwards. NDC never and never again. It's possible everywhere. Articulate Alfred from Sunyani says December 7th, the NPP will break the 8th that NDC is holding. JDM can't be trusted, and that's the only reason why Mahama is going to lose. Now, Sigrid Jonas says, in the Northeast, NPP is currently holding 4 out of 6 and not 3 for 3 and NDC. General E.L. Common comes again to say the general election is indeed a crucial moment in Ghana's history. The two leading candidates, DMB and JDM, have both served as vice presidents. DMB has championed over 33 policies, which is a significant track record. On the other hand, JDM has none. It's also worth noting that during JDM's presidency, we had Dumso. He told us he's not a magician to create jobs, and the economy is left with bonds. To make an informed decision, it's essential to remove our party lens and verify the track records and policies with our biometric eyes. I have no doubt DMB stands tall. And then lastly, coming from Aaron Babaku says, as we approach the upcoming election in Ghana on the December 7th, it is vital that we as responsible citizens prepare ourselves both psychologically, emotionally, and physically to exercise our civic rights. This election will be crucial in determining the future of our beloved country, and it's essential that we approach it with all sense of responsibility, maturity, and above all, commitment to peace. Now back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Fatih. And now let's get into the interview. So Rotary Ghana are here to help the process. Every Ghanaian wants to help the election process because it's an important part of our democracy. I welcome to the studio Shirley Akwa-Harrison and Mr. Edward Owusu Menu. Mr. Edward Owusu Menu from Accra Rotary. So which Rotary are you from? Ladies first, they say. So Shirley, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. From Accra Cantonment East.
Rotary.
Club, yes.
So how many does Rotary have in Accra? How many? Do you call it clubs or?
Clubs.
Yes. How many clubs do you have?
I know in Ghana there are about 70 clubs in Ghana.
All over the country?
Yes.
70?
Yes.
Oh, that's impressive. Yes. Ah, wow. Okay. So, Uncle Edward, tell us, what is this about? What is the Rotary piece about? Or maybe for viewers who are just acquainted with Rotary for the first time, you can tell us a little bit about what is Rotary?
So, Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million people, businessmen, professionals, and we have different causes, one of it which is to promote peace. And as we get close to the elections, with all the anxiety that is going on, and Rotary as one of its causes is educating citizens as they exercise their rights to ensure that we have a peaceful election.
I see. Okay, so what form is this education going to take? Let me come back to you, Shirley. What form is it going to take?
Okay, that is what we're doing.
Edward.
Our key message is as you go to the polls on Saturday on the 7th to exercise your rights, please go to your polling stations, do the voting, and go back home safely. If you want to go back in the evening to go and look at how the votes are being counted, yes, you could go, but ensure that it's peaceful so that we can all enjoy the peace we're enjoying at the moment.
So you're urging people not to quarrel, that when they go to the polls, as the Electoral Commission said, they should obey the rules and they should all look at the counting. If the counting goes in a way that they don't like, what should they do?
They should accept it. Obviously, there are a couple of parties, two main parties. However, we all want the best for this country, and most importantly, the peace that we are talking about. So if you are the winner, you enjoy. Unfortunately, if you are the loser, you need to support the loser to ensure that we still have the peace that we are enjoying today.
If you feel that you are the loser because the policeman was talking to somebody and you heard the person telling the policeman that let me vote the second time, and you saw the person voting the second time and you tried to react and the policeman says keep quiet, go and write a report and all that, what should you do? If you find something clearly untoward going on, what should you do?
I think there are laid down structures as to how those situations should be handled. And we are encouraging people to go by the laid down structure. Because as I always say, if you travel outside or you talk to anybody from outside and you mention that you're from Ghana, they mention two things. They mention football and also mention how Ghana is peaceful. And it is something that we shouldn't take for granted at all. I mean, my son had the opportunity of working with the Ghana Refugee Board for a while, and he always kept saying that the sort of stories he hears, we should pray that we don't have anything close to war in Ghana because it's not pleasant at all. But sometimes we take it for granted. We say Ghanaians are peaceful people. We are not peaceful people. So we shouldn't lie to ourselves. We need to make the deliberate effort to be peaceful. So let's just follow the processes. If there's anything you are not comfortable with, follow the process. If you have to report to a higher authority, just report. Don't go to the polling station with knives and guns and all that. It doesn't benefit anybody because the peace that we are enjoying is very fragile. And it's not fragile like a flower where when it falls, it's fragile like a bomb. So when it falls, it will just explode in our faces. And we won't be here, sitting here and having all the discussions we are having. So just follow what the laid down structures and procedures are, and let's have a very peaceful election and move on. Just as we are moving on before the elections, after the elections, we still have to move on. Shouldn't bring a block in whatever we are doing.
Does Rotary encourage these people to vote?
Yes.
And to vote wisely?
Vote wisely, yes.
Okay, I see.
It's a civic responsibility.
Yes, it is.
Yes, we encourage everyone to take part.
So you are telling all of us that the Electoral Commission has a book of rules. Let's all just obey it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Even if you are being cheated, even if you feel you are being cheated.
Yes, but I think there are rules for you to follow when you feel you are being cheated. There are rules for you to follow. So let's just follow it. Because really, if you go and fight at the polling station, what will you gain? Whatever you think will not be sorted out at the polling station. The best is for them to cool tempers there. So why fight? I always give example of the Jinapur brothers. One is MPP, one is NDC. They are friends. They are not killing themselves.
But we had the Mafos. Osafo Mafo.
Yes.
That's long. Many people don't remember.
Yes. That. So why should we kill ourselves?
Much before that, we had Aaron Ofoyata and William Ofoyata in different political parties.
Exactly.
In opposite political parties. So we've been doing that for a while.
We have spouses
who have different parties.
So, no, I've not heard that one. Okay.
Oh yes.
A lot of.
It's important that we all think peace. It's important that we go to the police stations, follow the due process. If you have an issue, you escalate through the right procedures and ensure that after the elections, what you are expecting, the kind of development you are.
Some text messages.
Okay, let's hear them so we can answer.
All right. So actually, it's not about their questions. They don't have any
Rotary.
questions.
Okay, then we can take them later.
All right.
Okay, so your last word, Uncle Edward. What's your final word?
My final words to the citizens of Ghana again is we should all go and exercise our rights. It's important. We should not sit on the fence, but most importantly, we should think and promote peaceful elections. So we encourage everyone to go to the polls on Saturday, vote peacefully, return home, so that after the elections, all the development, the expectations that we are expecting to see, we can enjoy it through the peaceful elections that we will encounter on Saturday.
And Shirley?
Okay, I think Dr. Usumenu has said everything, but the only thing I'll add is that Ghana will continue after the elections.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Christmas coming, Easter coming, Eid al-Adha coming. It will come and go. Life has to continue, so let's preserve that life for everyone.
Great, fantastic message from our Rotary friends. And we'll be playing this over and over again on our social media page. Let's take a short break now. When we come back, we continue with the show. This is Good Evening Ghana, and it's live. It's 25 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock.
Who is your man of the year?
Ooh, that is a big question. I didn't see this coming. My man of the year, I'll say the president.
Why?
Yes, I'll say the president. I'll say the president for one reason. He's had the toughest tenure. The last 8 years have been tough globally. And for him to be able to hold a country to this far, locally, he's my man of the year. That's all I can say.
What would you say to Ghanaians who disagree with you?
Everybody, opinions are like noses. Everybody has an opinion. You know, I'm not faulting anybody who disagrees with me on this. But truly and really, he's my man of the year.
Aquina no more cano. Mekabi, if you send me over Rukrum. Usha Oforukrum, a free news site. Echo, a mena, a chamucopium, appear to Cocabin Quino. Udu was the CIA. What did the Aquachi when you know? Oh, my Donina Quino. Oh, my Donina Quino. Come on, the ask. Oh, sure. May say, may say, Opa, Quana, Donina Quina. Friend Bisa, Nanu Yan, your call. Udu, a tonsu, a quine and swa. Oh, my and the Kama. Upiem ewa buakwa kwine nso a oma ye ne kama utwam edu atwomamponia udu nyina hini town roads nyina oma ye nyina hini tu chaya so kwanta oma ye kwan no upiem ewa entweaje kwanta ekopiem ewa shilesu gira so kwan no eno so oma ye ne kama yaba no
Ago Fiha, open your eyes and lend your ears and listen to our story like will never be told in all the textbooks which are set for us to study. Mind you, broaden your scope and let us be honest with ourselves, my people. some things are difficult to address, yet who will bail the cat?
The book catalogs all the stories that have defined the Fourth Republic from the beginning until the end. As political journalists, we never cover stories without giving it a verdict. So from page 528 till the end, we call a set of stories the editorial stories. There we cast a verdict on most of the things we've written about and most of the things that have happened. I'll just read the headlines of the verdict, and when you get the book, you can read it.
Our Fourth Republic did not come into being by way of external pressure either, or by the activism of well-intentioned foreigners. The Ghanaian people themselves, through their institutions and political parties, navigated the processes and parameters of democracy with great assiduousness. This book tells the story of how this navigation occurred and details the specific role of particular individuals, political parties, the Supreme Court, the Electoral Commission, and the security services. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to declare this book by Paul Adum Otri formally launched. I thank you.
I think indeed we must pay compliments to what Paul Adum Otri has done. Many of us have many experiences and all, but hardly will we have the time to put together our experiences, chronicle them in the form of a book. So indeed, this work for me is very important, very significant, and I recommend it to many people in the country.
It's important that we learn to script right for the records. And I think what our brother Paul has done is to be able to put his thoughts into writing, his recollection of history into writing, and his own opinions into writing, packaged and presented in this book. I believe, having worked with him for over 2 decades, that every element of the content of this book will stand the test of time.
His Excellency Akwaba, Penifo Nyina Mama Akwaba. No, Mama Tinase with the billions. Medini de Mauli Ekpe Peter. Na Obia Frame Abro the big mouth. When you say Angel FM na me ye juma. Na me jina ha aka sem kitwa we na ye nyina di atu echim. Kosi da ebeto abane di akai ye papa Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Mi firi anyako ba ya wo mu obogoso. Me papa ya anwoneni, and automatically ya wo anwonemu dia NDC dia wo dia. I joined NDC, my branch chairman, ward chairman, constituency vice chairman for Ishiayeso. Now, when it comes to communication, Ministro, no matter what you bring, I will defend myself. To the extent that in NDC, my cousin will say, sir, Bonibia Midi will NDC Mutia Ghana for Monfan Cheme. My patch on so many platforms. I have said it. Said in NDC, you better say they train you. I deal with a black, kind of white. So what kaya? Time na doom soni jina so kesiye pa no. Me a movie producer. Sisi amejina make say the whole Ghana movie producers. Me na me national PRO. Me jina hey. Me na me say national welfare. Me say many honorable champagne. Etikasbin TV. Atade ese me pompu yodum kanea. Na me defend say me na man to atale no. Me defend say me na man to atale no. Meanwhile, movie a me di misika di atwanso no yento because there's no light to watch movies. Na asidanka Owura Napo. Asidanka Nana Danko Kufuado. Dear Emma me joining MPP. Me and me challenge me home. Say, Bogos wa ya wo ye no. Uwie school. As to say obe to aso akọ secondary school no. Na ye den. Ye mo bi ye wie school no. Ye bo kokọ tena nkran 2 years. And some my sister Penny and in the kunu at the school. So when me teach and another school be free SHS no. Now me say politician or boy. So to me ba no yeah for even the first time me I will leave NDC and follow MPP because of free SHS. Now as yet my classmates Alex Bano ewo Bogoso Tamani o Bogoso DC ya ka obi onima de pa na ya Alex Bano but in there or your shoemaker ewo Bogoso because of scar when you fa secondary school ebusia me mama kasa ne nwa I am preaching the gospel of free SHS because very soon ufie ubenya lawyer ufie ubenya professor.
Amidst Accra's vibrant economic landscape, a critical transportation artery has struggled with chronic inefficiency. The road network between East Legon, Spintex and Tema Motorway, with the Flower Pot roundabout being at the center of it all. Despite previous efforts to relieve congestion at the Flower Pot roundabout and improve access between the northern and southern parts of the Tema Motorway, the roundabout has, for many years, remained a challenge for thousands of commuters who are to contend with persistent road congestion, which led to daily struggles in traffic, pollution, and long travel times.
If you watch the movement south to north of Accra, you see that we have a high volume of vehicles passing through Tetekwashi and a high volume of vehicles passing through Flower Pot to Spintex Road. The whole idea is to reduce these volumes. East Legon has only 2 entries into East Legon. That's the tunnel and then the Emmanuel Eye Clinic. So in the mornings, the tunnel is choked. The same is the Emmanuel Eye Clinic. And the volume coming out of East Legon and the other suburbs behind East Legon is huge and is growing at a very fast rate.
Na ye facing normal degree in foot ne accident, those kind of things. Uka engineer want to mean for her.
Daytime no sana pa mo parents do won't go school. But me the traffic for so many hours.
Change, however, is rising from the ground up. The Flower Pot Interchange project, a bold vision by President Nana Akufo-Addo to reconnect Accra.
When I assumed office in January 2017, I did so with a resolute pledge to transform the infrastructure of our nation, fully aware the robust infrastructure is the foundation upon which sustainable development is built.
This isn't just about building roads, it's about building futures. An 802-meter mainline bridge, 2 ramp bridges spanning 220 meters, and 2.5 kilometers of auxiliary roads. Engineering marvels designed to untangle a major traffic knot in Accra.
The Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Department of Urban Roads has as its vision to improve mobility and the networks in the urban areas, and also improve congestion, particularly at intersections. This project started as part of the Accra East Corridor project. And when I say Accra East Corridor, we are looking at the area bounded on the west by the Gifford Road, the north by the motorway, and the south by the beach road. In the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area Network, the motorway serves as a barrier, which disconnects the north and the south.
Happy to see the design, which is carefully done to improve traffic connectivity between the north and the south of the motorway, linking Cantonments and Burma Camp area to East Legon, Spintex. and timber.
The project's ambition stretches far. For the team behind the transformation, every decision is crucial.
As part of developing this project, we also encountered a few challenges. For example, the old tunnel was abandoned. We have incorporated this and made sure that all those coming from Shiachi towards the Action Chapel area now have an exclusive road that they can use. We also created a ramp from Shiachi onto the bridge in a bid to relieve the congestion. We can now get onto the bridge and get onto the motorway, which takes you towards the eastern part of Accra.
In addition, an exit into cantonments from the Gifford Road interchange has been built, all adding to the reshaping of the community's traffic flow.
The entry and exit of the roundabout at the Bema campsite is going to be 4 instead of 3, so that those who are going straight into cantonments and into east of Accra Central can use that route, and then those going to Central Accra and west of Accra can then use the Ewak road.
Dual carriageways, smart ramps, public transport facilities, walkways, cycling lanes, roundabouts with fountains, street art, murals, and a car park for 100 cars.
Proud of our team's dedication. They are hardworking in completing this complex project under such challenging conditions. The use of the cantilever construction method, requiring meticulous precision, also reflects our technical capabilities and our commitment to the excellence. I'm proud to see that we have maintained a very good safety records with 0 accidents through our entire construction period, a testament to our commitment to the well-being of both our workers and the public.
This is urban development with people at its heart. Each element purposefully created for safer journeys, cleaner air, and improved community to save time and to beautify the environment for everyone to enjoy. The interchange's design prioritizes not just vehicles, but all road users. As the interchange takes shape, so does a new vision of Ghana with an improved road network.
So I can say year of rose and pass also or the back.
Wama kama pa because since ya wama school kola e ko school mumble e jedu fusumble.
The person me da buy say what me aye interchange way e dey bie kwan mu a sisi ano traffic no e so ati wa ha no mu a ya driver for no ye hu to ye.
In addition to the Flower Pot interchange, the government has been busy building other interchanges, including the Pokuase, Tema Motorway Phase 1, Ubechebi Lamte Phase 1, Tamale, East Legon, Suhum interchanges, and the soon-to-be commissioned Ubechebi Lamte Phase 2 interchange. This is not all, as there are 7 other interchanges in various stages of construction across the country. All these interchanges stand as a bridge to Ghana's future, connecting not just roads, but opportunities.
Who is your man of the year?
Ooh, that is a big question. I didn't see this coming. My man of the year, I'll say the president.
Why?
Yes, I'll say the president. I'll say the president for one reason. He's had the toughest tenure. The last 8 years have been tough globally. And for him to be able to hold a country to this far, locally, he's my man of the year. That's all I can say.
What would you say to Ghanaians who disagree with you?
Everybody, opinions are like noses. Everybody has an opinion. You know, I'm not faulting anybody who disagrees with me on this. But truly and really, he's my man of the year.
your man of the year?
Ooh, that is a big question. I didn't see this coming. My man of the year, I'll say the president.
Why?
Yes, I'll say the president. I'll say the president for one reason. He's had the toughest tenure. The last 8 years have been tough globally. And for him to be able to hold a country to this far, locally, he's...
Welcome back to the show. The big stories are coming up now. The professor is here to walk us through the research. Professor Dr. Donfrey and his team are here to give us that information. Fatih, how many messages do you have? Can you read some 3 or 4 for us?
I can. So this is from Moses, and he says, with these infrastructures projects and free education, NPP has won coming election by 52.99. Moses come again to say, I can comfortably say, call these elections for Dr. Bawumia. Statistics of the historical elections results since the year 2000 indicates that NPP hold the majority share of Ghanaian voters. The NDC only wins presidential elections when floating voters overwhelmingly endorse their candidates, but I'm afraid repackaged and rebranded John Dramani Mahama is not marketable to win against Dr. Bawumia. Aziz from Kumasi says, it's sad and a shame John Mahama doesn't understand the 24-hour economy. He's preaching of it as a good policy. Every country needs to develop, but he doesn't understand. I'll explain the 3 key points needs to implementing the 24-hour economy by tomorrow. Okay, we'll be waiting, Aziz. Now, Paul Yaro says, I learned the special voting results are not announced until the general elections are over, but the NDC have declared themselves winners. How does that work? Danam says the sincerity with which free SHS was preached and subsequently implemented with gusto are the reasons for which it has become the bedrock on which the NPP stands as a threshold for making beautiful and enviable history in Ghana's political history. Now, Akosomo also have a long list of some of the projects implemented by the president. He says the facts still remain the same. President Akufo-Addo will go down in history as the best president ever. This is the man who has implemented free SHS, constructed more hospitals than any other government, constructed more interchanges than any other government, constructed more universities than any other government, constructed more roads than any other government, introduced more social intervention policies than any other government, transformed 2 airports into international airports, also procured more vehicles and retooled our security services than any other government, provided each district with 5 road improvement equipment, introduced policies which ease the stress that the Ghanaian has to go through to renew their NHIS, buy electricity credits or transferring and receiving money. Now we move on to Baba Chairman all the way from Tamale. He says the NDC can continue to tickle themselves and laugh as far as the Ashanti region is concerned. Ghanaians won't fall for the NDC. Aaron Babaku says a high level of professionalism within the political arena is not only essential for maintaining public trust and confidence in the electoral process, but also for fostering a sense of unity and cohesion within society. By engaging in respectful and constructive dialogue, political parties have the opportunity to showcase their vision, values, and policies to the electorate in a manner that is both informative and inspiring. Now, lastly, coming from Awudu, it says Ghanaians must reject the NDC and John Mahama. They have no policies and plans for the development of this country. John Mahama will hamper and impede Ghana's development. He is a double dealer and a blackguard. Ghana will go back to doom so if we vote for Mahama. Now back to you, Paul.
All right. We have Mavis Yeboah in the studio before the statistics. Mavis, let's say.
I'm here to go say.
It's if a pan out.
No, I can't.
What's that also? Now go school.
Me go GHS for St. Martin. Atosu.
St. Martin Atosu.
SHS was Ashanti in high school.
Since when since school no free?
Bachelor.
What's your school fees?
Bachelor.
Yeah, sure.
Pa.
For how many years?
3 years.
3 years.
2018 to 2021.
When you're not free?
When you're not free.
What's your school fees?
Bachelor.
Okay, I think at your school fees and call for bit metric.
Anka ebia obetime to yakra anka me nko da ye na me we.
So
Because me nua bema nyina wie the same year.
Nua bema nyana mo kwese the same. When you sing.
Onyi cheme. Nti na omo senka ema bema ne nko na nka me mentwen kakra. Nti ehihye na wie no omo de koto asofufu anyina anim ema me gitu mu se okay. Me nua bema na kona me me awe keto ano. After so no ne ko uremu wie na ne ma toto a na me so mako. Nti meti se akofo de free SH saba.
Na mu mienu nyina timi call prekope.
E de mienu nyina na no kra no omo de double track no. E na be boy. Because double track na ba na me ye green ana me nwane ye gold.
Sao.
Nti ada sport na double track ne ba e be favor me ni me nua no e boy ma me.
So wo school no no fie.
Me wo school no no fie.
Ono ko school na wa be fie.
Sana neti.
Course ben aye.
Me general arts.
Into electives at the end.
Yeah, economics, CRS, Christian Religious Studies, Geography, and our government.
Hey, how are they? Government, they more there. Okay, viewers, if you don't know who I'm talking to, have a look at this video. She's the same person I'm talking to. This is her.
Mekabi, if you say me Oforukrom, we share Oforukrom a free news site. Echo Emena, Echem copy appear do Kokobin Quino, who drew us CIA. Kote de diakwachi we nyina wudu ha.
Omaye do nyina kwan no.
Omaye do nyina kwan no kama mo de ask.
So me se me nyina mi krom o.
Me se opa akwa na ko
se ya na enya do nyina kwan a.
Fre na bisa na anu ya na ekọ. Wudu atonsu ekwan no nso a. Omaye ne kama. Upiem e wa bu akwa kwan no nso a. Omaye ne kama. Utwam edu atwomamponia wudu nyina hini town roads nyina omaye. Nyina hini to chaya so kwanta omaye kwan no. Upiem ewo entweje kwanta ekopiem ewo asilesu gira so kwan no eno so omaye ne kama yaba no education a udu asante mantema na anu ya akufado aban MPP aban enko ne aban e ba ya otimi de daku ebi esuku adan maku 80 ano ebi sida ananu ejoda etwamu yera na dan kwa akufado ebepiem ewo asante mantema obepie hospitals and 9 ayeswame hospital Drobonsu hospital Sabronum hospital Chadia hospital mene okasei eye adwuma Atafua bridge se wo number request kwan no so abantima constituency Atafua bridge na no do wa ya ne kama ene nkwala eco school free SHS enkwala asa 2023 enkwala akọ free SHS awo Ghana aye 5.7 million mijibisa segra say a driver for amuma kobi omo to eye ensuo amuma kobi bra wa wutie obakobi unia so ekobi mi amigina ha mi kobi afi free SHS via 2021 yes enkwala afi we nko omo ko free SHS enkwala afi we 5.7 year 2023 enkwala afi we nko omo ko school aye 565,391 ana afi we na na dan kwa fodo eti omo school fees a odo omo ko school free bisa John Dramani mama say na na dan kwa fodo ene ba mu dibo mi eti ka say omo nko aba ye mfie nwotwe omo ma maburu ana amrantia ne mabawa 2.6 million adjuma jobs and o makreti bisa John Dramani mama ne NDC for ne say omo ba ye mfie nwotwe efiti ye ramel se penso ebesi nana John Dramani mama penso 2016 enyuma hodo asai no mukreti e wo Ghana say NDC no ba be kasa onyi sa question we ano na yento aso
who be say adwuma dodo asai
na dan kwa for any eya Alhaji Mahmoud Bomia sa wo hwe ankra adwuma private business na oma ma enkwala na say adwuma 1.2 and aban dia enso 1.4 eti wo kan nyina aboma jobs enko aban we akreti 8 years 2.6 million ye bisa John Dramani mama say omo nso mechire enyuma wodo omo ban dodo asan ena omo tibibie
me da say
hey babies what be you no MPP ni ana
meka am MPP ni
on
pa
na sama o kan o TV so yeti se ni nyina no kre
ni nyina no kre
na wo ko hwe sa kwan no a wo bobodi ni sa ye den na uchi ahwe eduma MPP ayi anase
campaign
we campaign
na University nso for krom wa na ye nti baabi na bia no ye hu de ekoso ho ana me free over krom so na be kofia normally me wa atonsu nso matena open ana eya atwemampo ne na meka na ho na meto abankasa ho na me ma me mo nti e won so minim ho nti e won so yakoye campaign kakra wo ama saa kwan ne kura na no ye koye campaign no ana me fefa so a me hu sese wo nyina ya wo kwan nti baabi a kwan bia me kan ye bia na makofa so pen ana me de mani nso ahu
na eya de na kopie program ya se
me ba program e woda Achen FM anopa no but e beduru ye no na enipa bebre wo nti time na wo de mai na ekitu abi ye wie ye na de me ne nam no oye so okọ check ni project nti ye nko ti ye dru baabi haja fate wo ana omoka so da omo ne happy FM for ne NDC for ne ko debate na me so me kro mo ma ye bi om kwan so nti me kwa hwe de we a city me ko tena na ma go de we mu bisa questions ana nipa na me ne nam no tu ka na ye ko circle nti ye dru ye no na papa ba ko na gina part na nem na NDC for ne ma ana na obi a e ka de ohun we ka kwan we ti NDC for ne be dru ye no oba de odika kasa ye na no den ena na do nya hwe na kasa eti na mpeni fonso ho nti omo ne ba no ma be kasa nti de amene na no ka kire party representative ni say oma me nko kasa na metima kasa ana o se akwa kitikiti we de e de nko gina be da aka ana o so woni me nam ana o hu me TikTok videos enti me kwa metima kasa na so okay na mama yen kon kasa na yen reso metima kasa ana me kwaje microphone nti no madi kan aye akufado dati kra wonye hwe no asa omodi omodi afam na ma amanfo ageri se no kre ana ndisi fo na no aye din e wo at that moment because omo point wonye hwe wa ise cathedral na ne ma na bia na omo keka de wo mo nti na mpese me kire omo se yenye hwe kra na de we ne yetimi aye enti na ma asa me ka se na asa me bu ofu because na hye makoma se de me di mani hu aban adwuma o ya ye nyina ye hu ade nti na wo se wonye hwe esa se wo di ntro ato papa no so nti wa anya hwe kra na de wa ya me di mani hu ana me bobo so
enti no what when we say video na cover what
mem
obi aka chiro wa hwebi
ma hwebi we share no happy FM on page
nti ko fa frefre obusianfo afre se wona na wo gina video no na
sabe ma me hu se me ya campaign sada
hu
se me kasa seda
hu me hu se kasa sada
David
teto no so kakra
nti hu ye na mo TV stations ni bebre pick video na no mo play ti me wo ho and any 3 days no friend me say eh me hu wo UTV for abo video bi na ye wa na me say aye me no na say sabe de o ti mi kasa say usian sa kasa be na me so se me de me ye campaign wo ma hu se me ti mi kasa but ye na ma ye campaign oni mi se me di party na chi ye campaign but oni mi se me ti mi kasa say
da che adwuma be na pese we
o mi ankasa de adwuma me pese me ye lawyer
ya de
lawyer
pese ye lawyer ni bet me aye pa ya aye ho aye please bring me one of the books. Let me give to her an autograph for her. Nancy Anna Mitchell book B. Ghana politics abako sem. Fourth Republic no. Hon sem inti we there. Amema obako na okwa oye campaign we a na wakokan. Why? Title na Africa's New Constitutional Leadership. 77 stories that define Ghana's Fourth Republic. Inti me bizeboa e cha obako. Na okwa now okay. Why? Okay, so I'll give it to her. You see it on the video later on. All right, maybe say that's why today. Your Professor B. Bekasa. You will need a point near Dinkomo. Fatty, do you have any messages for her?
Well, and everybody is so perplexed about this girl's delivery. He says this girl is fantastic communicator. Also coming from Akosombo Korani, says the facts still remain the same. The president will do best as Ghana's history. News Justice have been following Good Evening Ghana. It does not only give me an insight into Ghanaian politics, but a general overview of governance and constitution. Dashtin Kon says I even posted her videos as well as this girl is bold and intelligent. NPP, we have an asset. Nana Yao says education is the greatest gift you can give to an individual. Free SHS is a great policy. The impact on humanity is unmeasurable. God bless Nana Ado. Julius Donka says this lady should be mentored strongly. Such persons are organic testaments to the good works of the government, and they religiously support with all candor. She has to be mentored. She's got the communication flair. Mani Kaba says she's very articulate and knowledgeable. Mavis, more grace to your elbow. And then lastly, coming from Maxwell Entry, says this girl is a fantastic communicator. Now back to you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Prof, thank you for staying with us. Election times, it gets very tight. You're a doc?
Yes, sir.
Oh, where you will be Prof? So you're Dr.
Eric Boachi Iyadong.
And your background is in?
I'm a senior lecturer in finance at the Banking and Finance Department, University of Professional Studies. And I'm a consultant to the IPG in research.
So your background is banking and finance?
Banking and finance.
No statistics?
I generally did a PhD in finance, so statistics is embedded in.
It's embedded in it. What's your first degree in?
My first degree is accounting, BSc accounting. And there I do some. I'm a chartered accountant, and did an MPhil in.
You're a chartered accountant. You have an MPhil with a PhD in finance.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
I admire people who do that.
Thank you.
When will you be finance minister?
Leave it to God to judge. Maybe one of these days.
When will you become a politician, then finance minister, member of parliament, parliamentary committee on finance? People like you are needed there. That's an expansive academic qualification, really multidisciplinary.
Yes. We're trying to do our best to contribute to the.
Which secondary school did you go to?
I attended a private school, and it's a modern business college some time ago.
Wow. This research that you put out with your team, how many lecturers worked on? How many people worked on it?
Actually, the key consultants, we are three, myself and Dr. Domfe and Professor Isaac Bodi. We're consulting for IPG in terms of this particular research.
Okay, once we talk about ICT, there's something happening at PRESEC. I just want to show them the photographs. So the PRESEC 1999 year group, including Bright Simmons, Bernard Abler, Kwame Jan, is it PRESEC 86? No, PRESEC at 86, okay. So PRESEC is 86 years old. Oh, I see. When I was in PRESEC, we used to sing a song. PRESEC is 50 years now. Join in our celebration. Hallelujah. How many years ago is that? When I was in PRESEC, we were singing, PRESEC is 50 years now. When we were juniors. Join in our celebration. Hallelujah. It's 86 already. Glory. Okay. So PRESEC 1999 year group, including Bright Simmons and his friends, put up this fantastic AI lab in the school. So right here in Ghana, in PRESEC, the best boys' school in Ghana, in the world, there's an AI lab. That's what you can see on the television. Where is Bright Simmons? Congratulations to him. I call him Manche. And his year group of brilliant young men and women. Oh, wow. Look at how beautiful it is. This is sited. Those of you know PRESEC very well. So this is inside the science college. So when you enter the school, this is on your far left. Yeah, that's where it is. Once you get inside the school, this is on your far left. And this is it. This is an AI lab that they put together. I think they've done a really, really excellent job. Bright Simmons and the 1999 year group, congratulations. There they are. Oh, they have my photograph there because we scheduled the program last week. There they are. Really, really, really good. Those of you who want to know more about it, it's going to be on our Facebook page for the details. PRESEC at 86. Okay, let me come back to you, Doc.
Yeah.
Why did you set out to do Ghanaians how they were going to vote?
Polls are like prophecies. And it guides you as to what to do. Mm-hmm. And Paul, I know you like scriptures.
Yes.
In Habakkuk, there's a scripture that says that the vision is set for an appointed time. Although it tarries, wait for it. The word is wait for it. But people think that when there's a prophecy, it means that automatic to come to pass. The word wait means different things to different people. Jesus one time told his disciples to wait, and they slept. And one time when he's about to leave or go up, he told them to wait. And they got sense from what they did previously, they went to pray. So the word wait does not mean you should sit and relax. So there may be a prophecy to your favor that you may win an election. It means more work to be done. In the same way, there can be a poll that's saying that you're going to win. It means there's more work to be done. So we set up this poll to be able to guide politicians and parties in faction of strategies. I think that the elections is more scientific and data. That if you don't take data and science serious, you will not do well. I have a professor that says that torture numbers and they will confess to anything. So we set out to be able to predict possibly how this 2024 election will go. And people think that election cycle is 8 years, so 8 years automatically there need to be a change. No, we've done 16. So it's like we are starting anew. And there's a need for you to take the science and data serious to be able to organize your activities. And later I'll be sharing with you how the dynamics have been changing over the past 12 months. I should say, before I go, I've been going into the details. If the elections were conducted last year, November, President Mahama would have won hands down, even in Ashanti region.
November last year?
November last year.
November 2023?
2023. Because per our polls, NPP were around 50%. As of November when we did our polls.
NDC?
And so NPP, I'm talking about
we're 50%?
We're 50%.
5-0?
5-0.
That's a win.
5-0. No, I mean in Ashanti region alone.
Oh, in Ashanti, you're talking
Ashanti region.
Oh, in Ashanti,
which
they were 50%.
They've been doing.
That's abysmal.
Minimum they do is around 72 or so percent.
Yes. That's abysmal. 50 would have been abysmal.
50 would have been. And over the months, the trend shows a great change. So we'll be going into the details.
So did you do a poll in November 2023?
Yeah, we've been doing from November 23 up to now.
Like this poll you are showing us, you've been building it up from November 2023?
We've been building up, but this one relates to 17th October to 2nd November, the one that we are coming to discuss
Okay,
tonight.
so you have polls that are coming all the way from November last year, but you were not publishing them?
We're not publishing it because as consultant, we were only doing for IPG, and this is the final. I mean, and they want to tell the world, I mean, the trends and what it is now. Yeah.
I'm sure people will be more interested in the trends than the actual outcomes. So if I may spend some time on it. So from November, Mahama is winning. By what percentage do you remember?
No, we concentrate on strongholds, you know.
Okay.
And when we
even this last poll is on strongholds.
No. This is nationwide.
Okay.
Nationwide. So in November 1, when you look at the strongholds that you expect to do well, I mean, NPP wasn't doing so much well in their strongholds, and they were doing around 50 or 50%. And
that's what you observed.
That's what we observed from the polls. And by April, they had moved to around 60%.
And now?
And now they are doing around, as at 2nd November that we speak, they were doing around 61%. But when we do, if we show the demographics, you will see that there were those who will not vote.
Yeah.
You know, there are two segments of those who will not vote and those who are undecided. When we take that percentages out, you know, NPP is around 66.4% in Ashanti region. But then as at last week, Thursday, our final polls were in, you know, and NPP has crossed the 70% margin. I mean, in Ashanti region. And you know, there are key things that we need to take serious, especially utterances and things that politicians say. You will remember that somewhere, I think in November, there was some part of NDC who were saying things about ex-president Kufuor. When you look at the dynamics in Ashanti region, there are two things they don't take for granted. Number one, they are chiefs. Number two, respected elderly people. That when you speak against their chiefs, no matter the difficulty they have, they'll set it aside and they'll come and settle with you.
No matter the difficulty they may have
the
with that chief.
The difficulty they have with themselves,
chief.
Whether with themselves or with the chief, they will put it aside and they will face you squarely.
That's how Ashantis are.
When you look at the dynamics. So since those utterances against Kufuor started coming, there were a lot of undecided voters in the Ashanti region. And now they are all shaping up. As of last week, that we received our last results, they have crossed from the 66.4%, they have crossed the 70% threshold, which means that it's going up and possibly by the next 2 or 3 days when we go to the poll, if all other things being equal, they are expected to maintain the 1 million differences vote that you were talking about earlier.
So if they keep it,
they are expected
and hold
to keep
it by the time counting starts.
Yes, we are expecting all other things being equal.
You sound very confident about your work.
Yes, because this is something we have monitored a trend over a period. It's not just a one-time study, you know, and starting from 50 and building up. And it also appears that when the NPP presidential candidate speaks or visits an area, it has a certain influence in people's perception
of him.
So
he gets a bump when he goes around.
He gets. And you see, when he went to Ashanti region, he spent quite some number of days there. It has actually improved the confidence in him. You know, so I think that political parties should be mindful of how they speak. You may be telling the truth. What we say may be the reality, but if we don't go about it in a certain way, people misinterpret it differently and may not go in your favor.
So you will say that the vice president and the MPP candidates from your polls has demonstrated that he speaks convincingly.
Convincingly, and it shows that everywhere he has gone, when we conduct a poll afterwards, we see a surge in the number of votes.
You don't get the same for President Mahama?
Yes, we don't get the same because when one is winning, one is losing. Because as of last year, November, President Mahama was doing so much well in Ashanti region. And I think you mentioned that a good number of NDC leaders have gone into Ashanti region. Probably their internal polls is also telling them that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, which confirms what we are saying here.
I see. That's interesting. So what about other Greater Accra region, for instance? What did you get in
Greater
Greater
Accra
region?
We expect NDC to take Greater Accra region, but the margin is being closed, you know, gradually. They are doing.
The margin is still being closed.
The margin is being
so that if the election goes to, if the election were December 15th.
The elections were
if it were December 15th, not December 7th.
Yes.
It would be closing for the NDC. You think
yes,
so?
Because currently NDC is leading around 50.4 in Greater Accra region.
50.4.
50.4, whilst the NPP is around 47.3 in Greater Accra region. So we.
And is that from last November an improvement for NPP or is it an improvement for NDC?
A great improvement
for the NPP.
For NPP, yeah.
Wow.
They have been closing the gap, like I keep saying. You know, the trend shows that they are inching up.
Could that be why this week MPP is concentrating on Greater Accra and closing their rally at Legon?
Exactly. So you can see that where you feel you are losing, you put your attention there. So all of them also, they have their internal polls that is communicating to them. So I was thinking that why won't they concentrate in their strongholds? NPP, I was thinking that concentrate in your strongholds. But they tend to concentrate in Greater Accra because the polls is not favoring them in Greater Accra with 47.3, although they have done some.
And if they could push that 47 to 49 and take Ashanti over 70, that's significant.
That is significant. I mean, that is significant.
They may still lose Greater Accra, but if they can close the gap to make the NDC's victory marginal, and they can comfortably win Ashanti, they're almost there.
Obviously, you see, if we have lived only within Greater Accra, you may think that it's like two different worlds when you travel outside Greater Accra.
For the choice of the two parties?
Not a choice in terms of development and in terms of economic factors, how we explain and interpret economic issues. You know, if I may go into the reasons why they vote per our sample, you know, we sampled about 29,000 and 290,029. 290,029. So out of these, we covered almost all the 276 electoral constituencies, and you know we have around over 6,720 electoral areas. We selected 5 electoral areas from each constituency. Then out of the over 40,000 polling stations, we took 3 out of every polling station. You know. Then we took 7 voters, you know. So in total, if we multiply, our total sample space should have been around 28,000, but we ended up it should have been 28,980 but we ended up interviewing 29,029. What it means is that what we actually, the people or the voters we actually sampled are more than the sample space that we intended to do. Why did this happen? You see, we try to choose the enumerators carefully. You can select some enumerators when they go and a group of 8 or 7 people are there. You interview them, which means that groupthink can affect the responses.
Ah, yeah.
You know,
so they might want to play according to.
Yes, and also if we select, if we don't check the background of enumerators, and you let's say the person is NDC biased, when he goes, he may feel more comfortable when he meets an NDC person. So you may do polls, but the
do you ask your enumerators, are you NDC or MPP? Do you ask them?
No, we don't, but there's a way you can find. No, because when we come to Ashanti region and we pick most of the enumerators from Ashanti region, they are likely, the propensity, the likelihood of you being an NPP is higher.
Yeah,
so therefore, we have to change it. I mean, in a way to be able to have a random, a sample size that they can interview. So with this approach, we have enough sample to be able to mimic the voter population of over 8.7 million that we have. And we also did about 52% of them being females. And about 60% of the respondents are under the 40 and below. That is between 18 and 40.
Are you reflecting the voter population in the voters register?
Exactly. Yeah. So that we can be able to have, so it's supposed to be heterogeneous, and we'll be able to tell the differences over the sample size that we had. So, and we'll also find out whether the person voted in 2016 and in 2020, so that we can tell your voting pattern can influence how you vote going forward. Yes, and largely about 82% had voted in 2016 and about 86% had voted in 2020. So typically the new voters that were added, were around about less than 20%, generally.
Does that reflect the voters register?
Generally, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean,
so that's how you picked your sample.
That is how we
did you do every region?
Yeah, all the constituencies, 276.
Oh, you did every single constituency? Every
single constituency. That's why I said that we selected 5 electoral areas.
Okay, so we've talked about Ashanti. We've talked about Greater Accra. Let's talk about Volta region. What did you find?
Obviously, we expect that Volta region, NDC is going to win. However, the momentum of NPP is increasing in Volta region. There is a report by EN Analytics. They usually write a report on elections afterwards. And 2016 and 2020 report, strongly emphasize how the NPP is gaining grounds in the Volta region. And our polls confirm it, that gradually the acceptance or Volta region is generally giving in to embrace NPP. So what it means is that when NPP is going up a little in the Volta region, we are expecting NDC vote to come down. So also, if almost everybody leave Volta region to go and concentrate in Ashanti region, it means that there's a work that has been left undone. So it's not like a done deal. And NDC should also concentrate there,
And they should work to maintain. What are the things that are making Voltarians sort of listen to MPP? What are some of the things?
In this past, let me say, 4 weeks, the things that the NPP government has done, they were not communicating until the last 4 weeks.
Oh, the NPP was not communicating.
They were not communicating.
It's achievement.
Achievement.
Yeah.
In terms of what they've done. So if I am only looking at how I have benefited, I may not have benefited so much, but when I see generally that, okay, I may not have gotten A or B, but in the total sum, you've done this and you care about us. That one alone brings a certain level of acceptance. I mean, so generally the developmental project that is going on
in the Volta region
is also speaking, because it was the economic development was a third indicator that we looked at that should influence voters' choices. And about 13% in the sums says that they will vote based on economic development. So in the Volta region, I think, based on the data we have, the general development is catching in for the NPP, which is good for the NPP.
So what kind of percentage do you expect?
So in the Volta region, currently, as at 17th to the 2nd November, Volta region in, let's say when you take OT, ex-president John Mahama was doing about 52%. And Dr. Bawumia was doing about 37.6. Generally, they do well in OT. But when you go to the Volta region itself, NDC is doing around 86.8%. And Dr. Bawumia is doing, or the NPP is doing around 11.3%. So when you strike the average, they are likely to go beyond the 25, 26 that they recorded in the previous election. So they are likely to inch up a little in terms of percentages.
So moving to about 15% of the NPP in Volta?
Yeah, generally, if you strike the average, it is taking us into the 20s.
Okay, so that's Volta region.
Yeah, that's Volta region.
Let's go to Central region.
Central region is a key battleground. I mean, people describe it as a main swing region. However, as at the time we conducted the polls, NPP was leading with 52.8, and the NDC had about 42.9.
Well, that's a huge gap.
Yeah, that's a huge gap. As at 2nd November, that is the elections.
Who is taking the gap?
No, I'm talking about the NPP is leading with 52, and the other political parties, that is the Cheddar and all those guys put together, they are controlling about 4.3% in the Central region.
But 52 plus 4 is 56.
52.8 plus 42.9 for the NDC.
That gives you, what, 90 something?
That gives around 95.7. And
the rest are doing
4.3. Yeah, so.
But the percentage points between NDC and NPP is 10.
It's 10.
Oh, that's significant.
Yeah, that's significant.
That's unbelievable.
It is.
Given the swing nature of the region, how close it's. Sometimes people win a landslide. Kufuor won a landslide, I remember.
Yeah, because
that not many people have. Well, this is a region where we are coming from an extensive popularity of Akufo-Addo,
yes,
who in 2020 his party lost the parliament, but he still won the region with 100,000 or so votes. So we are coming from a place where an individual, Akufo-Addo, the president, is popular. He's not on the ballot.
Yeah.
What has changed?
So you can see that all the achievement of Nana Akufo-Addo is tagged with Dr. Bawumia, that he has been a key architect in terms of this development. And even if we look at the campaign for the free SHS, one of the messages that the NPP say is that Dr. Bawumia is the, if Mr. Akufo-Addo is the father, then Bawumia will be the mother, and he will be the better person to take care of it. So they have been like intertwined in a way, and because of the support in terms of development that is going on in the Central region, it inures to the benefit of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So they are being tagged around, and if they continue with that momentum, I mean, I think that the 10% is feasible. The 10% gap that has been given.
Wow. Let's look at Northern region.
Yes.
What did you find in the Northern region?
In the Northern region, when you take Northern region in particular, Mr. Mahama, our ex-president, is leading with about 55.6, whilst Dr. Bawumia is around 43.6. Obviously, we expect Mr. John Mahama to win, but the gap, is being closed in a way. Then you go to Savannah. Savannah currently stands at 49.5 for NPP and 49.4 for NDC, which is there's no clear win
in Savannah
as it stands now.
That's great for NPP.
Yes,
this is a region they lose.
Yes,
and now they are neck to neck in the presidential.
In the presidential, so
it's mostly the Gonjes. This is John Mahama's tribesmen.
But you said at the beginning of your
Yeah.
of your show that ex-president Mahama lost in his own hometown.
Yeah, the parliamentary seat, his mother's hometown, Damongo.
Yes. So there's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the northern factor also cancels themselves out in a way.
That both of them are from the
Yes,
same area.
both of them are from the same area. So you don't stand to benefit from being an indigent of a place. So that factor cancels out.
Let's look at Northeast as part of it.
Northeast. In Northeast, Dr. Baumia is leading with 59.1, and NDC candidate ex-president John Mahama is with 40.8. So there's a clear difference, you know, in the Northeast.
That's Vice President Baumia's hometown.
Yeah, Northeast, yes.
Is it Northeast? The Mamprusi?
Yes, the Northeast side. So
Yeah.
that one is obvious. But when you go to Upper East, Mr. Mahama is leading with 61.7 with a huge gap. I mean, and Dr. Baumia is around 37.5. And in the Upper West also, NDC is leading with 53.5, and Dr. Baumia is around 46.2. But when you take the 16 regions as a whole, currently it is 7-7.
7-7 is 14.
7-7 is 14. So there are two places that is neck to neck. That is number one, the Savannah region, and number two, Western North, which NDC has 49.8, and NPP is having 49.2.
So if NDC pick both, it will be 7-9.
That would be 9-7.
9-7. If NDC pick both 9-7.
Yes, 9-7.
If they pick one, it will be 8-8.
It will be 8-8. Then it comes down
that's
to
interesting.
it comes down to the density or the number of voters in the various regions. You know that winning regions does not necessarily mean you are going to win, because when you look at Ashanti, it has a very huge voter population around over 2-something million. I mean, but then it also shows how popular you are when you win more regions. So I think in this last week or last few days to elections, we have to, our political parties need to be able to craft their messages and be cautious in what they say. Like if we're given an opportunity to explain, you play the video about the explanation to the 24-hour economy. I think there's more work that needs to be done, because this is a flagship program, you know, that it must be properly articulated, and you should be able to get a buy-in. And in all of them, all the party communicators from NDC should be singing from the same hymn book. They should try and consolidate and package it and sell it. I think these few days, there's more work that I think can be done.
Interesting. Fasi will tell us the rest. What are they saying?
So this is coming from Dashtin Kone, and he says the current Ghanaian voter is resolute in their thinking of voting for development and upgrading their livelihood. Voting for both solutions is what they are yearning to achieve. Number one is secured. Kofi Entry Jr. says it's difficult for any sitting government to win in Greater Accra. You can only try to close up. Accra is where the heat is. Zaksula says, so Mahama deliberately said it's voluntarily because he and his NDC cannot legislate demand, and he knows no serious business will just employ people and start producing anyhow because of 24-hour economy. Please ask him to demonstrate to us how NDC will stimulate demand for the 24-hour economy's products and services. Since every business produced to meet a certain demand, that's the numbers, will NDC legislate demand as well? Joseph Opon says the unfortunate thing in Ghana when it comes to voting is that we often vote based on sentiments. People vote based on whether they like you or vote against you because they hate you. We don't vote based on policies. It's all about what people say, whether true or false. I'm saying this because in the ongoing campaign, Dr. Baumia has put out attractive and achievable policies to help Ghana, but some people don't listen to what he's saying. They rather follow the propaganda which says Dr. Baumia is this or that. All the good work the government has done is nothing to them. Some Ghanaians is nothing to some Ghanaians, or because they have a bad feeling for this government. Now coming from Abbas, he says, Bawumia is the future, Mahama is the past, so let's look for the future. And then lastly, we will look at Dashtin Konesen. He says, in this current Ghana, number one is the only thing that's secured. Now back to you, Paul.
Okay, that's it. Prof, that was very interesting and excellent.
But there's the pattern in voting. There's one interesting thing we found, that the educational level plays a key role. And we found out that people with education from middle school, that is the junior high upwards, vote more towards NPP than those who have education level below or none at all. So
what does that say of the NPP? Does it mean their policy is not getting to the lowest person? What does it mean?
Possibly they need to be able to target them as well. And the huge population are also within those who are a little bit educated. And you can attest that over the years, NPP has won in all tertiary campuses except about 2 or 3. So it affirms that they should either appeal more to the less educated, probably how they craft their messages, the means of reaching them. They should find a way to be able to reach them, to close the gap. And it also tells NDC that they are losing a greater proportion of educated people that they need to also look out for.
Whoa. At 11:30, we had 2.1K eyeballs on social media. Doc, you do all. This is really heavy. Good. Education is good. Free SHS is good. I wish that all our children would grow and become like Doc, multidisciplinary, accounting, finance, everything. And I'm sure your students enjoy your lectures all the time.
I hope so.
Doc, don't go. I'll give you a copy of my book. So
thank you. Congratulations on
thank you.
writing this book. It's not easy. If you write books, you understand. To be able to put this together, it takes a lot of work. And I think that Ghanaians will appreciate, and posterity will be the one to congratulate you. Usually in Ghana, we celebrate people after they are. But I think these are some of the great things that you are doing.
All right, viewers. It's always a pleasure. Good night.